Imagine ruling an empire so vast that one end touched India and the other reached Greece. One ruler speaks one language, another province speaks another. One group worships in one way, another follows a different faith. Different clothes, different customs, different identities, and yet somehow all of them stay under one throne. Not because they were crushed into silence, but because they were organized. That was the Persian Empire. And this was not just an empire of war. This was an empire of strategy, an empire that proved one powerful truth. Real power is not only about conquering land. Real power is about controlling distance, managing diversity, and building a system strong enough to hold the world together. This is the story of Persia, the empire that united the world. The rise of Persia begins with one of history's most respected rulers, Cyrus the Great. Cyrus was not the kind of conqueror who destroyed everything in his path just to show dominance. He ruled with intelligence. When he conquered Babylon, he did something unusual for his time. He respected local customs. He allowed people to keep their religions. He did not force every community to become Persian. And that was not softness. That was political genius, because Cyrus understood something many rulers still fail to understand today. People obey longer when they feel respected. Fear can win a battle, but respect can build an empire. That was the first secret of Persia. Not force first, loyalty first. Cyrus turned conquest into stability. He showed that a ruler can be strong without being blind, and powerful without trying to erase everyone who is different. Then came Darius I, and Persia became even more impressive. If Cyrus built the empire, Darius built the system. And empires do not survive on glory alone. They survive on administration. Darius understood that a huge empire needs roads, messengers, taxes, governors, and order. So he strengthened the empire with one of the greatest communication networks of the ancient world, the Royal Road. This road connected distant regions and made it possible for messages to travel fast across the empire. In ancient politics, that was a big deal, because when a ruler can hear what is happening in the provinces, the empire becomes harder to break. Darius also divided the empire into provinces called satrapies. Each province was controlled by a governor, but that governor was watched carefully by the central government. This system made rule more efficient. It reduced chaos. It made it easier to collect taxes, enforce law, and keep order across massive territory. This is the second secret of Persia. Control does not always mean standing everywhere with an army. Sometimes control means building a system that reaches everywhere. Persia also understood economics. Trade was not separate from politics, it was part of politics. The empire protected trade routes, supported movement across regions, and allowed goods to travel more safely. When trade moves, wealth moves, and when wealth moves, the state becomes stronger. A rich empire can fund armies, roads, officials, and public works. So Persia did not just collect taxes, it built the conditions for economic power. That is why Persia was not only powerful on the battlefield, it was powerful in administration, communication, and commerce. And that is something modern leaders should never ignore. A state becomes stable when people can move, trade, communicate, and live under a clear structure. But Persia was not only about roads and taxes, it was also about military strength. The Persian army was massive, disciplined, and feared. One of its most famous elite units was the Immortals, a powerful force whose number was kept at 10,000. They became a symbol of Persian military prestige. But the Persian army was not the whole empire. It was one tool inside a larger political machine. That is what made Persia different. Some empires depend on violence alone. Persia combined force with administration. It used soldiers to defend the empire, but it used systems to hold the empire together. That balance mattered, because the strongest empire is not the one that fights every day. It is the one that knows when to fight, when to govern, and when to compromise. Persia's empire lasted for more than 2 centuries because it understood this balance. Cyrus earned loyalty through respect. Darius kept order through organization. The army defended the borders. The roads connected the provinces. The tax system funded the state. The whole empire worked like one giant machine. And that is why Persia became one of the most important empires in history. Not because it was loud, because it was smart. Not because it destroyed everything, because it organized diversity. Not because it ruled every people the same way, because it understood that different people can still belong to one political system. This is the deeper lesson of the Persian Empire. Unity does not require sameness. A strong state is not one that erases identity. A strong state is one that creates order across difference. That lesson still matters today. Any country that wants real strength must build trust, institutions, communication, and justice. It must connect its people, not just command them. It must govern with intelligence, not only with fear. Persia understood that long ago, and that is why the Persian Empire still matters, because it was not just a giant empire on a map, it was a political masterpiece. Cyrus showed the world the power of tolerance. Darius showed the world the power of organization. And together, they built an empire that linked continents, controlled diversity, and shaped the future of statecraft. This was Persia, the empire that united the world. And this is Dan 18.